thanks for joining us. You're just a few days into your new role of sporting director here. What's your first impressions of what you've seen?
First, an amazing warm welcome. The energy, I think the buzz around what Newcastle and the journey it's on has been really phenomenal. The welcome in general from the fan base and the positivity around that aspect, but also the ownership, the ambition. Super excited to really get going now and get my teeth into it more.
I know you've sort of had other offers or other interest. What was it about Newcastle that made you want to come here?
Yeah, it was, when I left Monaco, I finished my transition, my handover. I was tasked there to hire my successor and to make sure I left the club in the best shape possible. That's always an objective of mine, from when I arrived, to make sure I leave it in a better place. And there has been offers. I don't think that's a secret. I think some of them have been in the media, some of them true, some of them not true. This time I wanted to come back to the UK. I wanted to take my time. I wanted to make sure the next step was the right one, was kind of a perfect fit. And I just think, having watched Newcastle grow exponentially the last couple of years, the ambition, the city, actually the northern fan base, I'm a northerner myself, the energy of St James's Park, the ownership, the head coach, just when you align everything that you're looking for in that opportunity. And I've been on a journey myself, the Premier League, I think I had a successful time with Southampton and Tottenham in particular, then to move to Red Bull and to kind of culturally diverse my experience and exposure, then the Liga 1 and Belgium. I just think I'm at my optimum, so I wanted to utilise kind of all of that collaborative experience and put it into something I really believed in, not just with my head, but also with my heart. And I just think Newcastle is the perfect fit for me personally, but also professionally with the ambition we have and my ambition as well.
I guess the role of sporting director is a pretty multifaceted one. What do you see as sort of your remit, and what do you see as the key priorities, I guess, for you?
Yeah, it is. It's grown over time. I think people are still a little bit in the dark about what the role actually entails. I oversee all of our sporting investment. So I oversee, obviously, the men's first team, the academy, and the women's team. That does pose beautiful, wonderful challenges every single day. Recruitment is a big driver of that. My background in scouting and recruitment, I think, is well documented. But there's more. There's more around performance, analysis, physio, medical, academy, play development, the growth of the women's game. So it's an exciting role. It's a great job. It's 360 across all areas of performance in football, and that keeps me busy and stimulated every day.
And when you talk about recruitment, clearly that is a lot of what your background has been in the past. I guess that's not just recruitment at first team level, that is sort of developing players and bringing players into the system as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's actually, you have to run every facet kind of parallel to each other. So when we look at recruitment, everyone always thinks external, but actually internally we have to be better as well. And internally is player development, whether that's player development and we've signed and developed a player for the first team, or player development, we've signed a young player into the academy to develop, or once again, internal recruitment of signing a player at a very young age and bringing him from 9 years old all the way through to Newcastle's first team. I think we have to get better at every area of that, and that's a challenge I'm looking forward to getting stuck into.
We spoke to Darren Eales this week as well, and he spoke about how your global vision was kind of a key driver for him in wanting you here. Tell us a little bit more about what that means to you. Yeah,
so I think it's, we've seen the ambition, haven't we? We've seen how if you're going to play at the highest level, what I would say the Champions League format is, how you've got to expand over time. You've got to grow gradually. We know success is not just one straight line. We know we have to be patient in some formats, and we know it's going to take time for us to get there. For me, it's not just about getting there, it's about putting the right foundations in place, the right infrastructure, the right people, but when we do get there again, that we stay there and we become consistent at that top table of the world's game. And that means we do have to be globally expansive in our thinking, in our innovation, in our intelligence, and the processes we set about every single day.
No sooner had you got your feet under the table at the training ground, we've obviously come out to Germany. Is that a positive thing for you to sort of see a lot of things in action in real time, in a quick time frame?
Yeah, I think it's, again, when I made the decision to leave the Premier League, it was to have that wider global exposure. So actually coming back to Germany, there's not many markets I haven't been exposed to now. So I feel that experience can also help us grow over time as well. But it's good because a training camp allows you to get into the weeds and the micro detail that sometimes you can't see when you're back at home. So just also from a social level, that personal connection, the personal connection with the technical team, with the players, with the staff, with the directors, you actually can get a lot of condensed time because you're together for the full week and you're not going home and you're not in other distractive meetings. You're just fully focused on the season ahead and having those great detailed discussions and planning for the future season.
In terms of Newcastle United women, they're coming off back-to-back promotions.
Fantastic.
I guess that's something that you'll be looking to carry on. They've already started bringing in some really high calibre players. It's a very exciting time for them.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is one area of my role that I'm really excited about. You've seen back-to-back promotions. We've got great trajectory. We've got great momentum. Had dinner with Sue the other day. Super passionate about the growth of the women's game. I want to be part of that. I actually want us to become leaders, not following suit. We have another promotion to do to get there. Becky has done a tremendous job, so I'm really looking forward to collaborating with both Sue and Becky and making sure in the next 1 to 5 years we're at the forefront of the women's game, as thus the men's and player development as well.
Clearly, the relationship between a sporting director and a head coach is a pretty key one at any football club. How do you see that one working here?
I think it's fair to say Eddie did his apprenticeship on the South Coast. I did mine in Milton Keynes, but then I think I did my university finishing school at Southampton. So Eddie was building, what was a great job in Bournemouth, while I was helping Southampton build their own project as well. So we know each other. We were both kind of raised in football through the South Coast. So we know each other. I think we have a tremendous amount of respect, and like I see our philosophies, our ways of working being a natural collaboration, and it's something that was one of the motivations to come here. I think it's going to be tremendously successful, if I'm honest. You see Eddie's qualities. He's already impressive on the grass. You can see his player development CV that fits nicely and alignedly with my recruitment development CV of players that we recognise has performance potential, but then you can extract that potential through great coaching and great technical sessions every single day. I think that collaborative approach, bringing his strengths and my strengths, I can only see a positive outcome to that.
And James Bunce has come in well as Director of Performance. Why was that such a key hire for you?
Yeah, I think, again, something that has been well documented is around that injury prevention, that rehabilitation, the amount of injuries, the amount of minutes participated by the first team. And it's something I think Eddie wanted to address, I think the organisation and ownership wanted to address. And my job is to go and find the best in class. I was fortunate to have worked with James previously, but we came across each other through an unfortunate situation that looked like this one. I had a big injury list when I arrived in Monaco, 20 players injured every weekend, a lack of availability to the coach, and we need to actually put that right. If we're going to move consistently to the next level and we're going to perform at that level consistently as well, we need to give our best players accessibility to the coach and vice versa. And the way we do that is keeping them fit, keeping them healthy, keeping them robust, keeping them resilient, so our coach has a better chance of winning on match day. And that's why we hired someone like James, who is an elite specialist in the world of performance.
It's early days for you, obviously, but Newcastle, I think it's still fair to say it's a project, it's a club that's growing. What do you see that growth looking like? What do you want that to look like? Yeah,
I think I've always, I feel, been kind of drawn to growth projects, to building. I like to build infrastructure. I like to put process and strategy in place. I think it takes time. I think at some points on the journey over the next 5 years, we're going to have to rely on a level of patience. I know that's a hard thing to ask for, but it's important, and to understand that we are on a journey. It will take time. We've got some great elements that make me super excited and have been drivers to my decision, the coach being one. And I think in 5 years, I feel like we can be really challenged for important things and at an important level, and that's where we need to do. We have an ambition, and we need to now plot a strategy over time to get to that ambition. And like I say, not just get there and partake once every 5 years, get there and partake every year and put Newcastle United on the global map where everybody, our name, our brand is on the tip of everybody's tongue. That is kind of my big driver, is to really establish us in the global game in the right way, from play development, young players, a dynamic philosophy of play, the women's game being at the forefront of that change and development in that aspect. These are all big drivers for me.
So the long-term goal, pretty clear. Shorter term, what steps would you like to see sort of this season, this transfer window, shorter term?
Yeah, for me, shorter term transfer window, I always go into everyone, how can we make the team better? How can we make the team more set up to win? How can we make the team more aligned to the way the coach wants to develop and grow the team over time? So that's the challenge this window. We have some really great components. When we're starting from a nice platform, and sometimes that's a positive, but it always comes with some negatives as well. You've got to be a little bit more micro and strategic, because actually the distance and the elements you're adding might be 1 or 2 positions, not a whole total rebuild. We've made that big leap into this level, and now it's about getting the small decisions right over time, not making those big decisions and unstable in everything that we've already built that have some really exciting foundations.